Obviously, I know most of you. There are a few people here I think I've got to meet them. Tim, I'm one of Elaine's nephews. I feel really honored to be able to speak about her. She was very instrumental in shaping the person I am today. The word eulogy comes from the Greek meaning good words. I can't think of a better way to honor a good woman than with good words. And we all have a lot of those for her. She was many things to all of us. She was kind, loving, caring. She was fun, always the one that everybody wanted to be around. She had a real zest for living life to the fullest. She was a very glamorous woman. She always enjoyed looking her best, with her hair and nails always being done. As a boy, I always thought it was strange that she was going to get her nails done when they were already done in the first place. She often had nice, cool cars, convertibles. She even dated a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. She was successful in business. She was worldly. She traveled to China back when traveling to China was unheard of. She always seemed to know what was going on in the world. She was often the brunt of her brother's jokes, and she always took it so well. She took it so well. They would have her laughing with tears of mascara running down her face. I remember my dad would always tell her that she was 2 years older than Dirt, and she would come back with, well, then you must be Dirt. Because she was 2 years older than him. She had a very competitive nature. Anybody that played cards with her knows that. I can still hear the sound of her nails on the cards as she was about to scream out nerves. She loved to spoil kids. She spoiled her nieces, nephews, and of course her grandkids. I often think that the only reason that she worked so hard was to spend money on us. She loved spending time with kids, and even if that meant staying up until 1 a.m. to put a puzzle together with us, if she had to go to work the next day, she would do it. She would play all the dumb games with us until we were tired of playing with them, not until she was. Our family has so many great stories of Elaine, and I'd like to share as many as possible, but I might leave out some, so anybody that'd like to share a story, please come up after I'm done. Her brothers and sisters have the good stories of her childhood back in Lubbock. They would put on neighborhood plays, which of course Barbara and Elaine would direct. The paper even came down and took pictures of them doing their play, and they printed it in the paper. Pop made them the only lighted volleyball court in Lubbock, and everybody from the church would come and play for hours. Everyone wanted Elaine on her team because she was the best. Camping trips were some of her favorite times, and she never missed one. But on the trip, she seemed to be the one that things always happened to. My dad recollected a time where she was in the tent, the wind blew down the tent, and everybody could hear her screaming for miles. She had a blood-curdling scream. She liked to turn off all the lights and scare the other kids half to death. Dad said one night she had a nightmare and screamed so loud, Pop ran down the hallway, checked on her, stumbled over something, and broke his toe. My Aunt Becky sent me some stories to kind of help me out with the eulogy, and I was originally going to change them and kind of put it in my own words, but her words were so heartfelt that I couldn't stand changing them, so I'm going to read what she wrote. Having a sister is a glorious gift, and I was blessed with 3 of them. Elaine was more than a sister, she was a friend, and I have such wonderful memories of her. Elaine loved life and enjoyed spending time with her family, especially her son, grandson, nieces, and nephews. She loved everything Disney. She bought one of the first VCRs, which Jim told me a second ago was $2,400. So she bought the first VCR so she could buy her favorite movies and watch them over and over again. We would have a party every time Disney released one of her favorite full-length cartoons, and the whole house would be decorated in 101 Dalmatians or Beauty and the Beast. She loved parties. As we got older, she would throw Disney birthday parties, Halloween parties, Easter parties, and any other occasion she could. Our dad would laugh because before one party was even over, she'd be planning the next one. She loved anything that the whole family could be a part of, the more the merrier. Elaine especially loved Christmas, and she would start gathering the presents under the tree before anyone else. If she didn't think there were enough gifts, she would go to the store and get more. She was always buying things that wouldn't fit in a normal car or through a door. She would then tell our brother Jim to go pick it up on Christmas Eve, and he would have to figure out how to get it home, unload it, and keep it a secret. I remember one Christmas when Elaine bought a huge riding lawnmower for Pop and wanted to hide it in the backyard to surprise him. It wouldn't fit through the gate. I don't remember how Jim solved that one, but I remember all the girls suggesting that the boys just lift over the 16 6-foot fence. At different times, she bought Mom and Dad a new bedroom suit. She had Barbara and Wayne take them out to dinner, and we rushed around the house, moving out the old furniture, emptying the drawers, moving in the new furniture, and putting everything in its new place. We also hung new curtains. When Mom and Dad got home, we were simply sitting in the living room as if nothing had happened. It was completely crazy and tons of fun. In our house, there was never a dull moment. Elaine loved buying things for Mom and Dad and all of the kids, and always loved to surprise us. She started her party planning and gift giving in high school when she planned a special celebration for Mom and Dad to honor them for being such wonderful parents. Elaine knew that they never gave gifts to each other for the holidays, so us kids would have more gifts under the tree. Her and Jack saved half their money for months to be able to pay for the decorations, food, gifts for Mom and Dad. Elaine made thrones for them to sit on, and we even had a real wreath to put on the front door. I will never forget the little play we put on to entertain them. We actually performed that same play again at their 70th birthday. I always admired how hard she worked. Elaine gave 120% of herself every day. She always worked long hours, nights, and weekends, even when her health started to deteriorate. You could never say that Elaine was lazy or didn't work for what she had. She was very generous and would give you her last dollar if you needed it. Over the years, Elaine helped out so many members of our family when they were struggling to make ends meet. I took a full-time job after graduating from high school, and we ended up working across the street from each other. We rode together every day to and from work. She talked me into joining her company's bowling league. We ended up being on the winning team, and we were undefeated 2 years in a row. I think those were the only trophies we ever received. We had so much fun bowling together, and those were the years that we really got to know each other well. Since we were 8 years apart, she was in high school when I was old enough to start elementary school, and when she graduated, she moved to Dallas and lived with Barbara and Wayne. I will miss her love of life, her quest to throw the best theme parties you would ever see, and her friendship. She was so much more than my sister. She was my friend, my mentor, and someone who will always be part of all my favorite memories that I keep close to my heart. Now, stories from my cousins and I consist of all the time she spent spoiling us, spending time with us, and just generally loving us. Michelle remembers numerous shopping trips and Elaine taking her up to her office in downtown at one of the high-rises. And Michelle said that Elaine would often say, "I just need to fire my bosses." And she thought that was so funny. When Elaine was around, Michelle remembers nothing but fun activities that would ensue. She remembered when Elaine brought that above-ground swimming pool home, and Grandma almost had a heart attack about it. Amy remembers a time when she was 14, and Elaine took her out by herself to Bennigan's, and they went to see the movie Footloose. Amy said that was the trip that made her feel so cool and so grown up. Family always remembers Elaine's giving spirit, never leaving out the kids when they would come for holidays and birthdays, giving gift bags to everyone. Carolyn remembers various places where she would take us, and one time in particular, she took us to a drive-through animal safari, and a giraffe practically coming into Pop Suburban with us, and she thinks that it possibly lit Michelle in the face. I remember the many times she would take us to Toys R Us, Penny Whistle Park, Jungle Jams, and Wet n Wild. Elaine would always wear her big red hat with her bathing suit, and I thought she looked like a movie star. At nighttime, she would let us go pick out one of her many Disney t-shirts to wear to bed, and then we would sit and play a game and put together a puzzle for hours. All of our stories seem to be tethered by one simple thread, and that's Elaine's caring and giving heart. She gave to all of us selflessly. Hunter, Cole, and Garrett just told me earlier tonight that they remember one fateful trip to Dinosaur Park in Stephenville. They had borrowed Jim's car because Elaine's car was having some problems, and before they even left town, Jim's car overheated. So they traded cars again with Jim, got in Elaine's car, made it all the way to Stephenville, and the car overheated again. This new car overheated. They got the car fixed somehow. I think the guy helped them. And then they were stopped using a payphone, or they got pulled over, and the cop, for some reason, I guess, separated the kids from Elaine, and thought that Joe were being kidnapped. So I guess somehow her stories matched as she began talking more and more with him, and I guess he didn't take her to jail. And then they ended up going to the park, doing some hiking, and the signs got turned around, and so they got lost for several hours. Cole drank out of the river, and she yelled at him, said he could die. It was absolutely unreal how much Elaine loved Jim and you boys. You were her life. Elaine provided us with so many great memories that make us who we are today. We will always remember the times that she made us smile and laugh and appreciate what an asset she was to our family. We will carry her in our spirit always. Does anybody else have a story they would like to share? Or, there's a lot that we have with Elaine.